Our friend the heat miser gets to kind of chill back further off towards the south, because guess what? We're actually seeing a pattern change over the next 6 to 10 days. Cooler than average temperatures. Wow, New York, Chicago, hard to believe. Extreme cold is going to push on in towards the central and north central U.S., a little bit into the northwest as well. So this is a pattern change, and we'll be talking about if that means any kind of big storms here. We very cool across much of the west overall throughout much of the winter. Not major extreme cold persisting, but definitely a pretty similar wintry pattern. The opposite across the east, that southeast ridge just dominated well above average. This map doesn't even do it justice. We're talking about Ohio Valley through the northeast being one of the top 5 warmest on record for meteorological winter. We got ourselves a great view coming up for Thursday night. Look to the southwest sky about 1 to 2 hours after sunset. Jupiter and Venus close together. We call that the conjunction junction. I like it. We are definitely going to be seeing some cooler air try to work in at times. Still a couple periods of warmer air ejecting north, where this is the big system we'll talk about here in just a moment for the end of this week. We do get a little cold air back behind it. We get a little brief warm air pushing back into that. But then there's going to be a little bit more sustained cold starting to build, and more potent cold. And some of that's going to have a little bit more power pushing off towards the south. Snow cover has been pretty much the same story as what we've talked about for a long period of time here. Across portions of the northeast, we are seeing that snow cover not be extremely impressive. A lot of spots between about 6 to 10 inches. Yeah, finally some even into the coastal areas. Upper Midwest has had no problem into the northern plains holding on to plenty of snow, and it's been off and on across the portions of the west. This is one of those on periods where it has been just a ton of moisture getting onslaughted with heavy snow across those mountainous terrains and even into some of the lower elevations. We've had a few ice events over the course of the last couple weeks. So what causes freezing rain versus regular snow? Well, when it rains, you just have that column of cold air aloft. It falls as snow into a warm column, and it's rain. When you have freezing rain, there is that warm column still, but there is cold air within the lower couple thousand feet of the ground that allows for freezing. Sleet, you have more of a layer of cold air, so that actually starts to refreeze into those little ice pellets. And then snow, of course, the opposite of rain, where it's just a full-on column of cold air in place. Let's look at that upcoming pattern. This one rain system moving off towards the east. We still have some mild temperatures as our next big boy starts to form. This is going to create severe weather and some flooding in towards portions of the Arklatex, the mid-Mississippi Valley, and then cold air on the northern side, an area of some mixing, and heavy snow far north. It's going to be kind of a narrow track again, but where you do see that snow line up, it is going to be kind of impressive with some heavy rain to the south, warm air moving on out. Here comes a cold front as that system dissipates. High pressure across the middle of the country, nice and quiet. Another system stirring across portions of the west. And then we'll see just a couple of minor guys move on in across portions of the northern plains into the Great Lakes at times, with a little bit of rain into the southeast, and then another couple systems swinging on in as we go into the middle of next week across the middle portions of the country. How much snow from this? Well, notice it goes from like 13 inches to like an inch or two in no time. 2, 3, 4, 5 inches in spots to quickly 10 inches in spots, and then to like nothing. As you get across portions of the northeast, there will be a pretty big amount of accumulation. This has been one of the rare scenes when we've looked back over the last few months or so, but it will be a pretty good snow event for sure, just not extremely widespread. Let's take you off across the west and show you the snow amounts. Impressive as we go throughout the next week or so. A lot of spots with 5 to 10 inches, and then when you get into the mountainous terrain like the Sierra Nevadas, another few feet of snow. Big time